A very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch powered by HSBC. I'm Priya Sheth, and joining me today is Kahn from Omnivore. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining us today. I want to begin by talking to you about the fund and the environment when it comes to fundraising. Over the last couple of months amid the pandemic, we've been seeing so many new startups come into the fray. Want to understand from your perspective, what's been the kind of frenzy in the fund market?
Look, I think a lot of people got stuck at home for 2 years and decided to quit their jobs and start companies. Look, this is part of a larger trend of entrepreneurship that has been going on for really over a decade. I think, over the last, especially in the last 5 years, right, more and more young people, people in the middle of their careers have decided to take the path of entrepreneurship, seeing the potential to transform sectors, industries, parts of our society, and the threshold, right, the barriers to entry have come down to a great extent as the funding ecosystem has been built out at all stages, at the angel and pre-seed stage, at the seed stage, at the classic Series A and beyond. And so I think as a result, you've got, thousands, tens of thousands of hungry entrepreneurs that, want to change the world, and that you get a frenzy from that, right? I think what we see are the quality of entrepreneurs getting better year after year after year. And so people in my industry, in venture capital, we exist to fund those people. And as we see stronger and stronger businesses being built, better ideas, it I guess, results in a frenzy.
Tell us a little bit about the fundraising environment. When you look at the entire scenario and how it's shaping up, we're seeing a lot of new funds coming out there, a lot of new fundraisers happening, new rounds of funding. Has it become easier to raise funds at this point in time?
I think for startups, it's certainly easier to raise than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I think in 2022, it's probably harder to raise than in 2021. I think we've actually had, right, the last few weeks have been a bit of a cool off, kind of like every VC has a hangover from the party the prior year. But I think in general, it has gotten easier. I think for funds, it's a bit different because we raise from more institutional sources of capital or family offices or high net worth individuals. I think that at least domestically in India has gotten a bit easier. As people become more aware of alternative assets and more, and more desirous of having at least some part of their overall portfolio, giving them exposure to them. So yeah, I think at least for the last few years, it got easier. We'll have to see how 2022 plays out.
Sure. Mark, tell us a little bit about the sectors that are looking good to you right now.
Look, we largely invest across 6 themes: farmer platforms and fintech, marketplaces, agri B2B marketplaces, farm to consumer brands, some deep tech themes as well, like precision agriculture, post-harvest technologies, and agri-food life sciences. I think the last few years have been all about marketplaces, platforms, and fintech, right? Basically building an organizational, an informational, a financing layer over the rural economy, over the 130 million smallholder farmers and all of the millions of intermediaries. That's a story that's still in its early days. But I think as we look towards our investments, we're doing more in deep tech, we're doing more in life sciences, and I think we'll actually do a bit more in consumer than we used to in these farm to consumer brands that are being built. Not to say we won't do, the marketplaces and the platforms, but we've taken a lot of existing bets there.
Absolutely. Mark, tell us a little bit about the exit environment and how that's looking for you at this point in time.
We will have a major exit announced in April, our biggest so far. So that's pretty exciting. And another probably about a few months after that. And these are kind of full exits. But generally speaking, the exit environment is looking reasonably good. So we're happy about that.
And the final question before I let you go, in terms of the pipeline, what can we expect going forward? Is there a number in terms of how many investments you're looking at in the year ahead? What's the plan out there?
I would say in general, Omnivore makes we're very boring, right? We make about 5 or 6 investments every year. 2021 was more active, but it was more active for everyone. I would anticipate 5 or 6 investments, hopefully a lot of really interesting stories in terms of big follow-ons. And, we will, I believe that 2022 will see the first unicorns being birthed in the agri-tech sector. So stay tuned there.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Priya. Been a pleasure.